Peace, 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 peace to everyone. Peace to the planet Earth. Rob Blackstorm here, coming to y'all. I just want to build tonight, talk to y'all about the new moon, talk to you about the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Pig, and go into some observations. Right now, the world in its current state is very chaotic. Here in North America, we have Trump, we just had the government shutdown, we have people going through various things, the R. Kelly trial, rapes on Facebook, you name it. There's all sorts of things out there. And the world in itself is going crazy. The world outside is going crazy. And there's a scripture in the Bible where Jesus said to be in the world and not of it. And I want to touch on that and going into the new moon. So the new moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius, if you look at Aquarius, one of the ancient symbols of Aquarius is waves. Now we speak in sound waves, right? We speak in sound waves and we think in brain waves. So we have a direct connection to waves in thought and speech, and also in action, because when we move, it's a vibration, right? Movement is a vibration. That's why you can be seen in infrared light, because you have a heat signature. Your body produces energy. Your heart pumps blood through your body, the blood circulating, and you have an energetic signature. You are a electromagnetic being. So intellectual, they may not have read the Iliad, or they might not have read They Came Before Columbus, but this guy could grab a rebound faster than anybody else on the court. There's a level of intelligence to that people would discount, right? So getting into this new moon in Aquarius being a water sign, it's really not. The new moon or Aquarius is actually an air sign, right? You would think Aquarius, aqua, water, but Aquarius is actually an air sign. Why is Aquarius an air sign? Well, here's why. The ancient Kamites taught us in ancient texts and on the walls and even the Dogon of Mali have the same story, that out of the waters of noon, they call it, the Dogon of Mali, they call it the Nomo, which are fish, right? And also the Kamites have the same story. Out of the waters of Noon, N-U-N, right? Nun, look at nuns, look at the top of their heads. Doesn't it look like the top of a fish's mouth? Look at the archdiocese, the Pope. Doesn't his crown look like the top of a fish's mouth? Look at the ancient sign of Jesus. Wasn't it a fish? So we have to understand the correlations. So when they're talking about Aquarius being a water sign, Aquarius is a water sign and an air sign, because the first element, they came after what the science calls the Big Bang, right? But the ancient Kamites and the Dogon say is the Nomo, and they say it is Atum, where we get the word atom from. This is where they're saying creation comes from, right? So it's really the same thing. So, but the first element is hydrogen. Hydrogen is water, because hydrogen, the word hydro means water. The word hydrogen means water former. So why is this element hydrogen called water former? And why are these ancient texts and ancient documents and ancient writings saying that we come from the waters of something? So when we're dealing with Aquarius, we have to deal with streams of thought, streams of ideas, streams of energy. And we have to harness our minds. And most importantly, the things that pass through our minds. Now in this matrix is all about programming, right? It's all about controlling our ideas. So the first thing you want to do during the new moon is you want to kind of detach as much as you can from social media, from outside influences. And you want to really take time, if you can, to meditate. And if you can't meditate and sit and breathe, which you can, again, there's millions of videos on YouTube right now that you can look up and learn how to meditate. Any way you want, there's no excuse. Or you could sit in silence. You can sit in silence, and sitting in silence will show you your thoughts. And you can start to control, alt, delete your thoughts or edit your thoughts. The ancients taught, when you went to the mystery school, the first lesson was man, know thyself. Man, know thyself. Not know how many points Jordan scored in 95. Not know what Beyonce's last album sold. Not know the Kardashians' favorite color dress. Not know the girl what county she lived in that scratched Bow Wow and what Bow Wow was doing when he got scratched up. You know, these things are trivial. These things are really the distractions. We talk about big events that are distractions, like school shootings and, you know, terrorist shootings, that they're distractions, but we're missing the little distractions, the reality show distractions, the sports distractions, you know, the 10 episodes of whatever show distractions, the video game distractions. You know, these are the distractions we think about. The lust distraction, always chasing girls, always chasing guys, always have to be in a relationship. The gossip distraction. These are the real distractions. So, and during this new moon of Aquarius, we have to be mindful of our distractions. What's happening is the energy that is coming forth is calling on all of us to be accountable for what we think, what we know. The last lunar eclipse, the blood moon, gave us energy to push forward, gave us energy to push our dreams, gave us energy to physically move. But now that energy is now turning into mental. It's now about achieving a flow state for your ideas. And the flow state is when everything is going right. You have peak performance. You are disconnected from your prefrontal lobe of your brain. You are no longer thinking from ego. You're no longer thinking from, you know, this or that. You are just on automatic, pure parasympathetic, right? Because you have two forms of your nervous system. Your parasympathetic controls your unconscious mind. It relaxes you. It puts you at peace. Your sympathetic controls the conscious mind, and it is fight or flight. Your sympathetic nervous system is actually on top of your heart, right? On top of your heart. And your parasympathetic nervous system is actually inside of your heart. So that's why it's important that these triggers that we get from the outside world have to be monitored and modulated. They cannot be allowed to just be expressed rampantly. And we have to take hold of that. We have to be responsible for this. So this is serious work. And looking at this work of changing our minds and programming our minds with a different outlook and a different perspective. It's a paradigm shift. And this is what the universe is calling for. When we're doing this stuff with the moon, and, you know, people are lighting candles, and people are writing their petitions, and people are, you know, putting money on their altars, and people are saying their prayers, and people are writing out their spells, and people are putting on their oils and putting on their gemstones. All that is beautiful. All that is beautiful. And it should be directed toward goals, tangible and physical goals, and tangible and physical plans. But are you mentally willing to do the work? Mentally do the work. And also, are you physically willing to do the work? But everything is mind first. Everything starts in the mind. From our limitations, from our understanding, from the knowledge we acquire. Following this path of spirituality means that your goal is to achieve godhood, to be at one with God. And being at one with God is not some spookism or some woo-wooism. It's being at peace with yourself. And when you're at peace with yourself, with the good, so-called good, with the so-called bad, knowing that there is no real good or bad, there is no real duality, just challenges, obstacles, and things to overcome and not be succumbed by. then things change. Because whatever trauma that you have went through, you have overcome to be here, to even be watching this. Whatever trauma that has occurred in your life, you have conquered to a degree. And even if you're going through something right now, you have to know that there's something that happened in your past that may have been worse that you've conquered and that you've overcome. So the only thing is now is, will you succumb or will you overcome? And that is a decision that must be made from here. This is why the ancient Egyptians or the ancient Kamites had the weighing of the heart, or the heart on the feather. Because the decision was, are you going to go with the spirit? Are you going to be, is your spirit or your conscience going to be as light as a feather? Are you going to be that receptive to the universe? Are you going to be that receptive to yourself? To know yourself so that you know other people. When you know yourself, you know other people, right? They say when you live your truth, now you could teach your truth. You know, when you live your truth will manifest. So it's a mental button-down season. This is what this moon in Aquarius is for. And the reason I have on my red is because the people of Asia right now are celebrating the Lunar New Year, the year of the pig. But what happens is, in Asia, they send out red, red things with money, red envelopes with money, and they give them out. So I am riding the wave of that energy. So that's why I'm going to be wearing red throughout these next 15 days. This is a 15-day ceremony, so I'm going to try to find a way to wear something red, whether it's red socks or 15 days, because I'm in tune with that energy, right? Even though it's someplace far away. The Bible says, seek the earth and subdue the earth, right? The Bible is just our stolen wisdom, our ancient stolen wisdom that has been commodified. There's missing books of the Bible. These are facts. Constantine and the Holy Roman Council, the Council of Nicaea, stripped the Bible and split it apart. So that doesn't mean that there's no truth in it. So no matter what God you pray to, that God will still provide you gifts, because it is an avatar that you've given energy to. You've given that energy outside of yourself to something else, but that energy is still going to come back to you because of the energy you put into it. That's why people will be going to church and will go to the mosque and go to religion and still receive miracles because of the energy. It's just like if you're praying to an Orisha, or if you're praying to a saint, or whatever your deity is, because you poured energy into it. A good example of that is on the show American Gods. American Gods, he had in the last episode, he was with Easter, right? Easter was a woman, and Easter, or Ishtar, her name was Ishtar, which was the real name for Easter, Ishtar, and she had like 20 Jesuses, all different colors and nationalities. And she was like, yeah, I'm getting beaten by the Easter Bunny, because people started to put more energy into the Easter Bunny instead of the actual science or the mysticism or the spirituality of Ishtar or Easter, right? Which was really about Christ in the Christian tradition, right? But before that, it had nothing to do with that. It's going all the way back to Isis or Set, right? But anyway, I digress. The purpose of growing and the purpose of learning is to manifest your greatest love, the greatest love of yourself. And when you have that love of yourself, you're going to eat better, you're going to treat your body better. When you have that love of yourself, you're going to want to be a better person to people. You're going to want to connect to people. When you have a better version of yourself, you're going to want to do better to people out into the world. When you have a better viewpoint of yourself. But we're swayed by so many outside emotions and so many things that are fed to us through media, through TV shows, through series, through commercials, through advertisement, through parents, through schools. So many things are fed to us on a day-to-day basis. When do we take the time for ourselves? And this is why meditation is one of the most important things you could do during this cycle, especially with it being the year of the pig. And then after you meditate, and then after you are training your mind, your body will follow. If you train the mind, the body will follow. Right? We've seen that example of, they had an example of an elephant. And they had an elephant tied to his foot was tied or nailed with a stake. And the elephant couldn't move because his foot was tied up to the stake. And eventually, the owner came back after, I think it was days or whatever, and the elephant came back and he took away the stake from the elephant's foot, and the elephant still didn't move because the elephant had been conditioned. His mind had been already washed. He's already been brainwashed. So these subtle forms of brainwashing we have to watch out for. The media, the Donald Trump, all these streams of thought that enter our mind. We have to be vigilant about that. And that requires discipline. When you go to sleep at night, are you programming yourself for your dreams in the future? Or are you just going to sleep? Because the subconscious mind will work on your behalf. When you dream, you go into the spiritual realm. You're someplace else. You've had vivid dreams that felt real, where you were really there. You're gone. You're someplace else. You're not in your physical body, but you may feel like you're in another physical body in whatever realm you are, or whatever part of your dream that you are in. So the things to do during this time, when you're writing down your goals, when you're editing your ideas, and when you're doing the things that you have to do for yourself, is make sure that you have an actionable plan in place. Make sure that your goals are written out. This time period, this year of the fat, is for those who have things planned out, those who have their goals oriented, and those who are moving with the power of their thoughts. That their thoughts are in line with what they say, that their thoughts are in line with what they say they're going to do. It is the time of keeping your word so you could eat in the year of the pig. It is a time of accountability. It is a time of responsibility. It's not the time for victimhood. It's not the time for blaming your mama. Not the time for blaming your papa. It's not the time for blaming your uncle. It's the time for figuring out a way to take that pain and take that trauma and take that struggle and use it to energize yourself to level up. It's the time to take whatever you don't like and whatever you feel that is wrong and do something about it. Whether it's in your life, whether it's in your finances, whether it's in your romance, whether it's in just the way you perceive life. And if you're perceiving life from a lens of that you can't win, then you can't win, because that's the idea that you're giving yourself. No one can do that for you but you. But you have to program yourself. If you want to program yourself, you might need to write flashcards and put these flashcards and put them up every morning and put the flashcard up and every night. Put the flashcards up and keep it repetitive. The key to programming is repetition. The key to learning meditation is repetition. The key to being fit is repetition. The key to memory is repetition. What are you feeding your mind in this year of the pig? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to really eat? And eat meaning getting money, right? Are you really trying to eat? What is your dream job? What is your dream goal? How will you be of service? Whatever your dream is going to be serving something else or someone else. It has to be of service. Whatever job you do now, you're serving someone else. Whether you work at McDonald's or whether you work in an office, you're still serving someone else. Whether you're serving someone else's dream or you're giving, even if you have a job or you're independent, you're a businessman, you're nothing without your customers. If you're an entrepreneur, you're nothing without your customers. So the goal is to be accountable for what you say. The goal is to be accountable for your actions. Even myself, you know, I'm battling myself this last weekend. Went to work, you know, I came back, had a lot of free time, and I was wanted to work on editing, getting better at the videos and producing them and things like that. It's not the thing that I love. I'm not passionate about that, the technical aspect of it. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather just talk to y'all, but the technical aspect, I have to produce these videos better. So I want to do that. And so I was trying to learn how to do that, watching YouTube and stuff. I got frustrated for a while, and I was like, damn, am I really going to do this? And the thoughts, you know, the old thoughts start creeping up. Because even though you meditate, even though you're programming, this is conditioning. You know, I've had years of thinking bad things about myself, years of looking down on myself, years of having a victim perspective, years of having a perspective that I can't make it, years of having a perspective of I can't do it, years of feeling like the white man was against me, years of feeling like, oh, my mama should have talked to me, years of feeling, oh, my daddy should have, like, I'm a grown man now, I pay my own bills. And even if I contributed to the bills, or even if I didn't pay my own bills, I'm still a grown man and I'm still responsible for myself at this point. So I have to figure out how to use the pain in my life and transmute it and use it as energy and force instead of using it like, oh, this happened to me, oh, whoa. And maybe I could use that energy and that force to help someone not experience what I went through, and help someone not experience the trauma that I experienced. So there's plenty of people out there that's going to give you different things and different recipes to do for this new moon, and different ideas and candles, and, you know, you twist a lime around a lemon, and, you know, and then, you know, put it outside at 3 a.m. and make sure you put some poo on it and put some sprinkles on the poo and all that stuff. And you can find people that's going to give you those recipes. My recipe is mind your thoughts. Write down, script your goals, script your ideas. Curate your social media. Curate the people on your social media. Unfollow people if you have to that are putting negative energy on your page. Unfollow people. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like you're doing something wrong. And if you're hanging in around people that are putting negative energy around you, do your best to stay away from them. You can always isolate yourself, no matter what your situation is. If you have a pair of headphones, you get a pair of headphones for $10 and put on your headphones, and people won't bother you, right? And you can start reading or start doing something else, right? You can have a Kindle on your phone. I start using my Kindle a lot more, you know. But it's also what you feed yourself. What do you educate yourself with? What are you watching during the day? What is your entertainment? What is your entertainment? This is how you produce the sound waves to say, I am going to win. I'm going to kill this shit. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am abundantly rich. I am financially wealthy. I am physically wealthy and healthy. And you can proclaim these things and say it with the force and passion that you need to, and get those sound waves at the universe. And let these visions and these ideas and these brain waves at the universe, because they are waves. When you look at the symbol for Aquarius, Google it, it's waves. And Aquarius is an air sign. And the first element is hydrogen, which is a water former. We all have hydrogen in us. So when we send these things out, we're sending these things out in the universe. This is combining spirit with science. Anyway, I appreciate you for watching. We're going on 30 minutes. I know it was long, but this is heartfelt, speaking from the spirit. Let's all rise. Let's all be one with nature for real. Let's ride nature's current. Let's really take advantage of this full moon in Aquarius and really harness it and make some changes and put these changes into action. Really make word our bond. And put these vibrations out into the universe and into the flow state. And the way you enter the flow state is by following your dreams and your goals. and following your wishes and your desires for yourself, keeping your word to yourself, being accountable to yourself, being responsible, planning out your day. I just learned to plan out my day recently, and it's a beautiful thing. Peace, power, prosperity, and divinity. Rob Blackstorm 1.